All right, the court is calling 2024 CR 5219 and 2024 CR 5218, State versus Renee Camarillo. Can I have parties announced?
Jason Garahan for the state, Your Honor.
Marissa Giovanco for Mr. Camarillo.
And are you Mr. Camarillo?
No.
Counsel, in each of the cause numbers, have you received all discovery and did you review it with your client?
I believe I have and I did.
In each of the cause numbers, the court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. In each of the cause numbers, Mr. Camarillo, did you review the true bill of indictment with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, in each of the cause numbers, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
I do, Judge.
State, and the cause number ending in 19, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
And Judge, I believe that's the felony murder.
It's the aggravated robbery.
Okay, yes, Your Honor, we're proceeding on count 1 and count 2
Okay.
in that indictment.
And then in the cause number ending 218, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
No, Your Honor, we're proceeding with count 1, the murder charge, and waiving count 2 and count 3.
Any objections?
No, Judge.
In each of the cause numbers, did you review the court admonishments with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
In the cause number ending in 19, you're charged with the offense of aggravated robbery in counts 1 and in count 2. In cause number ending in 18, you're charged with murder. In each of the cause numbers, the range of punishment for each of those offenses is anywhere from 5 to 99 years or life in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes.
In each of the cause numbers, you have a right to a jury trial. You have a right to remain silent. You have a right to have your attorney confront any witnesses that the state would call to testify against you. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so do you understand by entering this plea, you're giving up your right to a jury trial?
Yes.
Do you understand by entering this plea, you're giving up your right to remain silent? So,
Yes.
for example, if you were to go to a jury trial, the state could not call you to testify. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right, because you're entering into a plea, you can be called as a witness because you're giving up your right to not be called or your right to remain silent. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay. And do you understand you're also giving up your right to have the state call witnesses to seek to prove that you're guilty beyond a reasonable doubt? Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
And so in doing that, you're giving up your right to have yourself or your attorney question any witnesses that the state would call. Do you understand?
Yes.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Yes, Judge.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
I believe he does.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
I believe so, yes.
Mr. Camarillo, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, in each of the cause numbers, the court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. In each of the cause numbers, did you review the plea bargain page with your attorney?
Yes.
Did you understand it?
Yes.
All right, in the cause number ending in 19, according to your plea, the state is proceeding on counts 1 and 2. They're asking that your punishment be assessed at 20 years in the prison. There's an affirmative finding of deadly weapon. There are no applications. This case will run concurrently with 2024 CR 5218. And they are taking in consideration 2025 CC 005805. In the cause number ending in 19, the state is proceeding on count 1. They're asking that your punishment be assessed at 20 years in the prison. There's an affirmative finding of deadly weapon. There are no applications. And this will run concurrent with 2024 CR 5219. Thank you. And they're taking in consideration 2025 CC 005805. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes.
So according to your plea bargain agreement, in each of these cause numbers, the state is requesting that you serve 20 years in the prison. Do you understand? And do you understand with the 20-year sentence and an affirmative finding of deadly weapon, you're not eligible for parole until 10 years are served flat, which means 10 years, day for day. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that to be the entirety of your plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense,
Yes, Judge.
state?
It is, Your Honor.
All right. Did you review the waiver of appeal paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are pretrial motions that your attorney has filed and that we've had hearings on, and I've made a ruling on those motions. Did you understand?
Yes.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
No, Judge.
Then in each cause number, the court will find that the defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial and that the defendant understands the nature of the plea bargain agreement and the defendant understands the exact plea bargain that has been reached with the state. Is there anything that you do not understand that I've spoken to you about so far?
No.
All right. Then in 2024 CR 5218 to count one murder, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest? And then in 2024 CR 5219 to count one of aggravated robbery, how do you plead?
Contest.
And to count two of aggravated robbery, how do you plead? State any evidence to support the defendant's plea.
Yes, Your Honor. In each of the indictments, State Exhibit number 1 with all of its attachments.
Judge, I have gone over those with my client and we have no objections.
All right. Mr. Camarillo, in each of the cause numbers, did you review the waiver and stipulations with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places? So what stipulations are you're agreeing that's what in the documents you're saying that's what happened. Do you understand? All right. So again, you can have a jury trial. At the jury trial, the state would present witnesses. Your attorney would have a chance to cross-examine those witnesses. Do you understand? With these stipulations that you're agreeing to, the state is not going to call any witnesses. Do you understand?
Yes.
So the court will be making a ruling on whether or not the state has produced enough evidence to find you guilty of each of these counts beyond a reasonable doubt by reviewing what the state has presented in the waivers and stipulations. Do you understand? In each of the cause numbers, the court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments, and the court will review the same. Off the record, while I'm reviewing this, if you all want to talk with Ms. Ferguson about the date when you all want to come back.
Yes,
Yes, Judge.
All right. After reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments in each of the cause number, the court will find that there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty in each count. All right. With regard to sentencing,
Yes, Judge, just a little snafu in that. Next week, I know that Zoom may not be available.
no, it will not. Let me ask you, do you all think they'll be able to Zoom sometime in this week or no?
I checked into that, Judge, and they're not available Thursday, Friday. And so I mean,
Are they available tomorrow?
I can check on that. I mean, if you give me a moment, I can
Yes.
call. Otherwise, it'd be, I think, June 30th, because I know that defense counsel's in trial the following week. But if you give me a
Sure.
second, I can call.
Okay. Okay. All right, just have a seat. We're going to see when we can do sentencing. All right, the court is calling 2024 CR 5218 and 2024 CR 5219, State versus Renee Camarillo. Can I have parties announced?
Jason Gary for the state.
Marissa Giovanco from Camarillo.
And are you Mr. Camarillo? All right, you entered pleas in each of these cases on June 10th, 2025. Are both parties ready to proceed with sentencing?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Judge.
All right. And 2024 CR 5219, you entered a plea of no contest to count 1 and count 2. The court found that there was evidence to find you guilty of count 1 and count 2. The court found you guilty of count 1 and count 2. According to your plea bargain agreement, counts 1 and counts 2 will run concurrently, and you will be sentenced to 20 years in the prison. Give you credit for any time served. This is the run concurrent with 2024 CR 5218. Take in consideration 2025 CC 005805. Is there anything else with regards to sentencing and that cause number? And just one moment. Also, there is to be no contact with the following persons: Sarah, SAARAHAMIN is the last name. Tariq, TAREK, last name RAMADAN. All right, and that cause number, did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification? I'm sorry, one other thing. With regards to sentencing, there's an affirmative finding of deadly weapon in count 1 and an affirmative finding of a deadly weapon in count 2. In that cause number, did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it? All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand? Do you have any type of drug issues? Okay. And then in cause number 2024 CR 5218, you entered a plea of no contest to count 1, murder. The court found that there was sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court found you guilty. The court will sentence you to 20 years in the prison, give you credit for any time served. This is run concurrent with 2024 CR 5219, and taking consideration 2025 CC 005805. And there's an affirmative finding of deadly weapon. All right, did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it? You need to speak up.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we can go off the record. How old are you? All right, you're 18. Any time that somebody serves is a lot of time. Many things can happen at the prison. Do not become institutionalized at the prison. You need to realize that you're where you are now because of your actions. I understand with the murder case, the way it's charged, which is legally a way it can be charged, because you were evading, you actually didn't hit the person in the crosswalk. The police actually hit that person chasing you, right? And so when you're sitting at the prison, you're probably going to start thinking, I shouldn't be here. Other people are going to start talking to you saying, you should have done this and that. But what I can tell you, that's the law, right? So at the prison, you can still get your education. At the prison, you can get some kind of trade so that when you're released from prison, you have some ability to get work. And it's going to be hard for you to find employment because you've been to prison. That's why you need to learn a trade at the prison. I don't know if they still do welding at the prison or not. I had one client who went to prison. He ended up becoming a welder. And there was such a high demand for welders, even though he had been to prison. When he was released, he ended up making more money than I made as an attorney. All right. So there's something you can do with your life, but you need to start thinking about the people you hang around with and how you find yourself to be in the situation that you're in. You understand? So there are 2 people who are going to be speaking to you, and this is called a victim impact. So they're going to tell you probably how this has impacted their life. I want you to listen and internalize what they're saying. Okay. All right. Watson and Simmons.
Yeah, I'm here.
All You can show your video if you want to show your video, but you don't have to show your video. Are you able to see Mr. Camarillo?
Yes.
All right. If you want to show your video, you can. If you do not, you don't have to. And you can begin whenever you're ready to begin.
Okay. So my name is I am the eldest daughter of India Watson. She was one of the victims. She was the victim that actually lost her life, a pedestrian crossing the street. My mom was only 47 years old, with 3 kids under the age of 30 and 12 grandchildren at the time. When I received a call of her death, I was 34 weeks pregnant, and my sister was about 26 weeks pregnant. She never had an opportunity to meet those babies. She would never get to see her grandchildren graduate from college. She would never be able to attend my siblings' weddings when those times happen in the future. This has been extremely traumatizing on our family to not only lose her so suddenly, but in the manner she was killed. Some of the family had to witness video footage of the accident. Law enforcement was going so fast on the night she was killed that my mom was hit at a fast rate where her body flew into the air before it landed on the ground. At the funeral, her face had to be reconstructed for us to have an open casket. She had to be fully clothed with gloves. Ears cannot be shown. The woman who raised me, that I knew to be my mom, I didn't see that woman physically. She was unrecognizable. While I understand you were not driving a vehicle that collided with my mom, you have a role. The actions you played and the things that you did throughout the day contributed greatly to her death. It is difficult to accept that one day you will walk free and have the opportunity to make new memories with your loved ones. Meanwhile, we are left to pick up the pieces of a family torn apart. There is no sentence that can restore what we've lost. We live with the consequences of your actions every single day. The leniency of your plea deal does not reflect the magnitude of the harm you caused. My hope is that you will use the time not just to serve a sentence, but to reflect and grow into someone who values life and considers the pain and reckless choices that you can put on others. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you so much. I'm sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
Ms. Simmons,
Yes, Your Honor. Good morning.
good morning. You may proceed.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. I am the maternal sister of Andrea Watson, and she was the youngest of my mother's 6 children. We certainly did not expect to bury our baby sister at the tender age of 47. There are 5 of us remaining. Andrea had a very large extended family, and she was loved and her life was valued. So it's a great loss to our family. And certainly, as my niece just explained, she had 3 young adult children and now 14 grandchildren. So we have a lot that she left us. But at the same time, those children will not have a grandmother that they can share memories with going forward. Um, this was an unnecessary occurrence. It was an accident, but unnecessary. And I do hope that going forward, this is something that you will think about as you'll have time to visit in prison and think about the impact that you had on a lot of people in our family, certainly. I was very intimately involved in her funeral proceedings. Um, so it was extremely difficult for me. Had a lot of emotional and psychological impact, of which I'm in therapy for. And I encourage all of my family to do the same because we have been in great pain for over a year now, and we're still suffering from the loss of our loved one. So it continues to be a difficult situation. The wounds are reopened each time I revisit the details surrounding her death, and there have been many instances since the funeral that we've had to go through writing statements and other things to try to clarify and close out uh, what has happened here. So, with all that being said, I just pray that justice will be served, and that at some point there will be some light that comes out of this dark, dark space that we were thrust into with the loss of my sister. Thank you, Yana.
Thank you so very much. And I hope you realize the impact, the negative impact you've had on other people's lives. Because do you have somebody in your family that you love a lot? Who would that be? All right. Can you imagine what if that was your grandmother just minding their business, obeying the law, walking in a pedestrian, and there is somebody out there driving recklessly, evading the police, knowing that they're in the wrong, and your grandmother got hit? So you need to understand their pain. You understand? All right. Good luck to you. You're welcome.